Okay, guys, so y'all see the title of the video. So we can't watch this video sitting up here in this nice little estate. We got to go to a different location. All right, I think this will do. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Daru back in the cut with another banger. Yo, it is currently late as hell into the night, like deep into the night. And we about to watch this scary video, man. 5 disturbing true Home Alone stories by none other than Mr. Nightmare. And being a person who lives alone, the thought of scaring the absolute shit out of myself by listening to these stories at 3 o'clock in the morning is nothing short of delicious. And before we get to the video, y'all have gotten me up over 750 subs, bro. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all the support. For real, y'all really don't understand how much that means to me, bro. It means a lot. I've been going for a minute, but I'm back now. So with that being said, make sure y'all show a lot of love to this video, like, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go. All right, y'all know how we do with these videos. I got a little length on them. We only pause when we feel like it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we're just gonna go ahead and listen. And I'm gonna just talk over what I ain't really talk over.
I'm 30 years old, and I share a house with my sister.
Okay.
It's a 2-floor house, a mother-daughter house, meaning it has 2 kitchens. My sister takes the downstairs, I take the upstairs.
Okay.
My sister isn't home a lot because she often stays with her boyfriend who lives 20 miles away.
Right.
Like I said, I'm 30. I shouldn't let being home alone ever freak me out. But admittedly, sometimes it does.
On me, you do.
This happened on a night that I was home alone in my living room watching a scary movie.
Ah,
My
shit.
part of the house is an open layout.
You doing this
the
to
living
yourself?
Room, dining room, and kitchen are all one big space.
Okay.
My couch is in the middle of the space, so as I watch TV on the couch, my back is to a large part of the room behind me. So for those a little more easily spooked, it wouldn't be the most comfortable place to be sitting alone watching a scary movie.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I like my open space in front of me and my back against walls. That's how I always do. That's why I always have like my bed up against walls. That's why my computer setup is like this. Instead of setting up my computer to where, you know, all my living room and shit is behind me, my wall is right here with my green screen so I can see everything. That's how I like it, bro. You ain't finna creep up behind me.
As I watched in the dark room with nothing but the light from the TV to cancel the darkness of the room,
Right?
I found myself glancing over my shoulder a lot. I like to think I'm not the only 30-year-old male that does that.
Yeah, I do it too.
Anyway, after the movie, I brushed my teeth,
My own damn house.
turned off all the lights in the house, then went to sleep.
Okay.
My sleep lasted for about 2 hours.
Quick little
I
nap.
woke up around 1 a.m., and I wasn't sure why I woke up at first. Then I heard a voice downstairs.
Oh
It
shit.
sounded like my sister.
Okay.
It sounded like she was inside the house, so it's not like she was calling for me to open the door. But
Right.
still, I knew it was my sister's voice. I didn't know what she was yelling up to me though, but I was still groggy and not thinking straight.
Oh.
All I could think was that she must have been calling for me, or arguing with her boyfriend.
At 1 in the morning?
So I got out of bed and went into the pitch black hall. I turned on the hallway lights and then made my way through the living room and heard my sister's voice again from downstairs.
Okay.
Now I could understand her to be saying my name. I made my way downstairs in the dark, yelling back at her, "What is it?" I looked for the light switch in the foyer downstairs, but couldn't find it.
Okay.
I'm not lying when I say I was groggy as hell. I walked down her little hallway to
That's how it be when you get woken
the
up.
light switch and flick it on. The light in the kitchen lights up her little apartment, including her living room. The light starts off dim and needs time to brighten up.
Okay.
I still saw that there was no one down there.
That's one of them slow
Her,
ones.
not her boyfriend. I went to her bedroom, but it was empty. I called her name really loudly one time. No one called back, but shortly after I yelled, I heard something drop to the floor in my sister's bedroom.
Oh, hell no.
Just checked and it was empty.
Hell no.
I went back up the stairs like a little kid and went back to my bed to where my phone was. I tried to call her a few times, but she didn't pick up. I had myself locked in my room, wondering if I had just hallucinated all of that. Eventually, I fell asleep, and in the morning, I woke up to text from my sister asking
You went back to sleep? Hell, I wouldn't have been able to go back to sleep
why
after
I
that.
called her at 1 a.m. I asked her if she was home last night, and she told me no, she was currently staying at her boyfriend's house. I went downstairs to her bedroom to see
No.
what may have fallen down on the floor, but there was not a single object on the floor that could have made that noise.
Damn.
I'm led to believe I hallucinated everything I heard that night, but that's what I want to believe, because the alternative would be much more horrific.
Right?
But I've never really hallucinated anything else or had any kind of sleep disorders, so how vividly I heard my sister's voice and that sound in her room really freaks me out.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Hell no, bro.
I was left home alone a lot as a kid, just due to the fact that my mom
Shivers.
was single for a good chunk of my upbringing, and she worked as an RN on a crappy RN schedule, and my brother went away to college. This was a night that my mom was working an overnight.
Yeah, I was used to it too.
It was a weekend night, so I had this girl Molly over who I was talking to, and she hung out for a while. We watched a couple movies and whatnot, and eventually she had to go home because her parents don't like her out late. So
Okay.
I was left alone to hold down the fort. I continued to watch TV in my room and bed. My bedroom is upstairs next to the backyard, so when someone dragged one of the chairs on the deck outside, I heard it.
Right?
I got up and looked out the
they
window,
really did it.
and I saw someone sitting on one of the deck chairs down below. I called Molly's name thinking it was her. After all, she'd only left under 10 minutes ago.
Right?
Whoever it was looked up at me, but it wasn't Molly. I immediately pulled away from the window to hide. That was not anybody I recognized. Not in the darkness, at least. I texted a few close friends in our group chat if it was one of them messing with me. The ones who answered all said no, and asked what I was talking about. I didn't really believe any of my friends would come to my house to mess with me like that anyway.
Right. Sit on the
Scared
porch.
shitless, but still curious, I slowly walked back over to the window to look down again.
It was
The
gone.
person was still sitting in the chair, looking up at my window. It was a he, that much was clear, and he definitely saw me. I hurried away from the window.
That image just got me a little bit.
I sat in my bed in a ball, basically, with my arms wrapped around my knees. I waited in darkness for a while. I didn't even want to turn my phone screen on because I was scared he'd see the light.
Right?
I didn't even want to move because the window was opened, and I feared that he'd hear any movement I made. I wanted him to assume I was just no longer in the bedroom.
Right. He was just listening.
I waited enough time. It had to be a solid 5 minutes of just sitting there. I highly doubted that man outside could still be there. I finally mustered up the courage to get up
And he
look
was
out the
still
window.
there, wasn't he?
I felt a little part of me die inside when I saw he was still down there, looking up at my window. Instead of running away from the window again, I tried to be brave and said down to him, "What do you want?" I then noticed his shoulders started to go up and down as if he were laughing really hard, but he didn't make any kind of audible laughing
So
sound
he just-
at first, till I heard a slight whistling sound coming from him. It seemed like he was laughing so hard that he was wheezing. I asked him to please go away.
That's somebody playing
I looked away
around.
from the window again. I went back to my bed. I was scared to call the police for some reason. I left my room and sat at the top of the stairway listening. The back door was being pushed. He was trying to get into the house.
Oh!
I ran back to my room to hide again. I was 14. I didn't know what else to do.
Run, nigga!
Eventually, I heard the front door's doorknob being fiddled with.
Ooh!
The man trying to push the front door open as well. He gave up quickly, thank God. I closed my bedroom window and curtains. My
Boy!
doors weren't locked. I could have been killed easily.
Right!
I was skinny and weak when I was 14, and definitely not a fight.
Ah, he wouldn't even be able to defend himself
My
either.
mom got home around 9. I told her what happened, and her reaction was angry at me for not calling 911. And in hindsight, that was very stupid of
That's
me.
true. Why would you not call the
There were many
cops?
things I did, or rather didn't do at a young age, that I questioned greatly.
You was one non-locked door away from possible death. And you ain't called the cops, bruh? And you talking about you was a frail and weak little 14-year-old, you wouldn't have been able to fight back. You would have just had to sit there and take it. God damn it.
This was the story of how I almost died as a young kid,
Oh,
home alone.
shit, almost
Possibly
died.
the most intense night of my life with way too much going on.
It's not
We're a
my
family of
eyes.
5. I
Screen's
was
just
10
shaking.
at the time. My older brother was 14, my little sister was 5.
Okay.
It was a Friday night.
Okay, so you're middle
My brother was
child.
out with his friends causing trouble, clearly, because a dreaded phone call came to my parents. All I remember was I was in my room playing a Star Wars video game.
Hey.
I heard my mom start freaking out crying. I got really scared and hurried to see what was wrong. My mom was on the phone with the hospital, calling to inform my parents that my brother had gotten hit by a car.
Oh,
Obviously, we were all shaken and really scared. My brother's leg was broken, but I don't know what else was
oh,
said.
but he's here live. So,
All
ooh.
I know is my parents hurried to get their coats on and got my little sister from her room.
Okay.
And asked me if I was okay to stay home alone. I said yes, and they hurried out to the car and left. I was of course really worried for my brother.
Why y'all leave
I
me?
didn't want to go to the hospital and
Oh,
see
hell
him in
nah.
a bad condition. I don't think my parents wanted me or my sister to either, but they didn't want to leave my 5-year-old sister home without them.
Right?
It's worth mentioning my brother recovered just fine, as his injury is no longer relevant to the story.
That's what's up.
Other than it being the reason why I was left home alone on a Friday night.
Right?
Before my dad left,
This ain't scary. You got a
I
little
tried to calm
fire.
down my mom, telling her he was going to be okay. So seeing my dad like that made me feel better. I had a feeling my mom was just being overdramatic like any mom would be.
Probably.
I continued playing the Star Wars game for a couple more hours. when I heard
Battlefront
the
2?
door open. I had my bedroom door closed. By this point, it was easily past midnight and past my bedtime.
Right?
So I turned off the TV and PlayStation and crawled into my bed with
Oh,
my
me.
Game Boy. I tried listening to hear my parents' voices. Maybe hear if my brother was with them or just hear what they were saying.
Oh.
I didn't hear anything. After a few minutes of not hearing them even come up the stairs, I had a feeling something was wrong.
Right?
I went to my door and quietly opened it, then walked over to the ledge and banister that overlooked the living room. The lights were off, but there were 3 tall people standing in my living room. They weren't my family. I was so petrified that I was frozen for a second before I could quietly walk back into my room and shut the door as quietly as I could in my trepidation. But it wasn't quiet enough, and I knew it. They had to have heard the door click shut, even if just slightly.
I'm getting chills,
I
bro.
went to my closet door, opened it quietly, stepped inside, then shut the door.
He in the
I
closet.
had myself sitting behind a bunch of the boxes and bags of clothes that were stuffed in my closet.
Okay.
I was actually pretty covered from view. There
Well, that's
was a
good
short
then.
period that felt like forever that I was anticipating my bedroom door open, and it did. And at that moment, I knew I was going to die.
Bro. I'd be ready to cry, bro.
I heard footsteps walk into the room. I couldn't tell how many people. It may have been 1, it may have been 2. I heard the footsteps move to my bed. Then I heard my covers being played with.
Damn, they were trying to check somebody was under there.
Silence. Then more footsteps towards the closet door. Then silence for a few seconds. And then the closet door opened. My heart was in my throat by this point. All I did was sit quietly and hold my breath. The door was open for a really long time, but I didn't look up. I didn't move. It had to be a good 20 seconds of silence before the door closed again. Footsteps walked away from the door.
Oh my God, bro. They walked away.
And I just realized, from where I was crouched down behind the bags and boxes, I may have been visible to that person. It wasn't until probably an hour that I heard my parents return. I ran downstairs to them.
But the person might have really seen them and just didn't say nothing.
Who broke in, and they had stolen a number of valuables from our house. It was a night that just went from bad to worse for our family.
Okay.
My parents were in such a rush when they left for the hospital that they apparently didn't even lock the door.
Damn.
I was lucky to have not been killed or kidnapped.
Right?
I look back now and really wonder if the person who opened the closet and just stood there for 20 seconds saw me hiding in there.
I bet he did.
Maybe he was just a guy that came to rob a house, not to kidnap or hurt a child.
That's what I was thinking.
Or maybe he just didn't see me, and I just narrowly escaped death or injury.
They probably just came to rob the house, and you got to check the house to make sure ain't nobody home, right? They probably seen you hiding and was like, yeah, he ain't finna move. He just gonna sit here. We can just go ahead and take whatever we gonna take and get up out of here. That's probably what happened, bro. You got lucky, though. You got lucky, because it could have been something else.
I was home alone for an entire week
Hey.
when I was still a teenager living with my parents.
Nice little background, all
which
this
was a rare
space.
occasion since my parents don't go out a lot. My mom's rich friend Patty invited my parents on a trip that she was paying for.
Ooh.
I'm an only child, so I was left alone in the house.
Damn.
We lived in Newark, Ohio.
Rich friend Patty invited your parents on a trip, but they couldn't bring you, and you the only child? That's kind of fucked up. I understand going on trips and not wanting to bring no kids now. I definitely understand that. But come on, man, you the only child. You can't do that.
Which is in Licking County. Yes, our county was actually called Licking County.
Licking.
My parents' old house had woods in the backyard and was on some quiet road that only a few cars would pass per day usually.
One of them
We
houses.
had a huge deck in the backyard overlooking the woods, and a decently large backyard. We even had a little fish pond and above-ground swimming pool.
Ooh.
This was on a Thursday night.
Good
I
job.
remember because I had conversations with friends about plans for the weekend that day.
One of them nice little
This was in
decks.
July of 2013. I was out on the deck smoking weed with my speaker playing music. That's about the time it started. I thought I heard a voice from out in the woods. I lowered the music and listened for a little bit. It didn't repeat, so I raised it back up.
Right?
When the music was loud again,
I ain't raising
heard a
nothing
voice
back
from
up.
out in the woods again. This time I turned the music off completely and listened for longer. There was a voice calling from the woods again, confirming I wasn't just hearing things.
Calling? Like he was trying to get your attention?
Mal's voice, saying, "Hey, over here."
What you mean over
Kind
here?
of distant, but not too far. The woods were anywhere from 20 to 30 yards away from the deck. And
Not that
that's
far.
where the voice was coming from.
That's a good sprint.
I didn't think in a million years it was someone calling out for me, though. Rather, maybe just some kids playing manhunt or something.
Right?
The voice called out again, "Hey, over here, we need help." This time I realized the voice was too deep to be a kid.
Nah.
And when a voice yells out, "We need help," obviously that'll always be slightly concerning.
There ain't no help.
I was getting a little bit uncomfortable now.
Ain't no help.
Because now I was questioning if these yells were directed at me. Now I heard the voice yell, "Straight in front of you, please come help us."
No.
And the voice was coming from
No.
straight in front of me.
Hell no.
Now I had a feeling this was directed at me.
You gonna stand in the woods and not show yourself and ask me to come help you? You got me messed up, bruh. Hell nah. He probably a little kid. I mean, he was old enough to smoke weed. I don't know what's going on here.
They called back, "Who is that?" And they responded, "We just need help. We're stuck in the woods." I called back, "What does that mean?"
We're stuck in the
The voice
woods.
replied back, "Just please come help, straight in front of you."
We're stuck in the woods. Sorry, man. There's a whole bunch of trees in the way. We can't get through them. We need to chop them down. That's the only way to get free. They wouldn't have been able to get me, bro. I don't like stuck in the woods. I'm going back in the house.
I got out from my seat, walked down the steps of the deck onto the grass, and proceeded towards the
You
woods.
damn dummy.
I called out, "I'm coming, where are you?"
Hell
The
no.
voice replied instantly, "Right in front of you, I see you." I replied back, "Wait, are you alone or with someone?" There was no answer this time. I stopped in my tracks about halfway towards the
Boy,
woods.
I'd have turned around.
I had a bad feeling in my gut about this.
Back to the house, boy.
I started walking backwards, back towards the house and the deck. I didn't even want to turn my back to the woods.
They finna come
because
bursting
it
out.
took me that long to realize there was something very suspicious about this situation. I
Took you that
made it
long to
back the
realize?
deck, and the voice didn't say anything else. If they truly saw me and this was real, they would have said something like, "Where are you going?" at the very least.
Right?
They knew I was onto the situation, but who even knows how many people were in there?
Right?
Could have been one, could have been three.
Could have been 5 or
All I know
6.
is getting stuck in the woods makes absolutely no sense, especially if he or they were able to literally see me.
Exactly.
What? Did their shirt get caught on a branch? I went inside the house and locked all the doors just to be safe.
Right?
I chilled in my living room for a bit, still high, and I think that's why I was more trusting at first, because of how high and relaxed I was.
Smoking the weed. God damn it, bro. We almost lost another one. Not to the actual weed smoke, but to the dumbass things that people tend to get themselves into when they're high off weed. Listen, I would tell y'all not to smoke weed. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all already do it. Hey, I ain't got no problem with weed, bro. Weed doesn't have any negative health defects. I'm not against weed at all. I personally don't smoke it though. And I know some motherfuckers just get stupid when they're high. I know people personally that just, when they get high, they just don't think properly. And this is one of them dudes. He almost died, fam. I would have been one in the house.
Then, though, I heard the voice again from outside, closer now. Definitely in the backyard and not the woods anymore. I heard splashing of water. It could have been the pool or the pond.
He jumped in the pool?
I hurried to the window to see.
Get your ass on my pool.
Didn't see anyone at first.
What the fuck was that? That wasn't me. Hold on.
I hurried to the window to see. I didn't see anyone at first.
I don't know what that was.
But then the voice called, "I see you," with a laugh. I noticed him.
Shit ain't funny,
There was
bro.
one guy, at least one guy visible.
Uh-huh.
He was hidden behind the pool on the other side, and
Right.
I could only see his head. It was just too dark to make out anything besides his dark, medium-length hair.
Excuse
I
me.
closed the blinds and tried to ignore it. Maybe he'd lose interest if he saw I wasn't entertaining him. He was probably a sick, deranged person.
You
who
are too
enjoyed
chill
messing
for
with me.
somebody outside your
didn't wanna
crib
give him what
playing
he wanted.
around, bro.
But my breaking point was when there was a horrible, aggressive banging on the window.
Oh,
where
shit.
I had just closed the blinds. And on the other side, the guy was screaming help. I screamed at the top of my lungs to "Fuck off, you freak, the police are coming."
Right?
I screamed it over and over, trying to make myself sound crazier than him. I heard him start to laugh on the other side of
Shit
the
ain't gonna
glass.
work, bro.
His laughing started to fade away as I assume he walked away. I sat back down on the couch, trembling, shaking, out of breath.
Right?
I sat there for a while, and it seemed like the guy had really given up. I still got a good night's sleep that night because weed helps me sleep. I wonder if I would have handled that situation any differently if I wasn't high, though. The situation made me more paranoid about who I opened my door to.
That's the story? But that one wasn't that bad. It was just sound like I mean, you could have messed yourself up by if you would have went in that damn forest. I don't know. Like I don't know what was going on, bro. But hell no. That's all I gotta say is hell no. That one wasn't that bad though. All right, we got one more.
I'm
Hey!
23 years old, and I live at home with my parents still. One day they were both not home, and I was outside playing basketball in the front yard.
Yeah.
At some point while I was playing, I looked up at one of our upstairs windows and saw a woman standing there. Not my mom, not my sister. It was a random woman. I guess when she saw me looking at her, she dipped away from the window. When I went inside and upstairs to check the lounge room,
in my house,
it wasn't anywhere. I checked every single room I could, every bedroom, the bathroom, every closet. Then I checked the downstairs, which included the living room, kitchen, dining room, one bedroom, and more closets.
What the hell?
Finally, I checked the basement, and I highly doubted she could be down there. It's a small basement with a couple couches, a bar, and 2 closets.
They got a nice
There weren't
basement.
many places for someone to hide. But when I opened the second closet door, I was incredibly scared, as I didn't know of any other places someone could be hiding in the house.
Right?
This was the last unchecked spot that I could think of.
Okay.
I yanked the door open as if I were ripping off a band-aid, and like I did with the closet before this one, I right away pushed myself into the closet just in case that woman was in there and I had to jump on her.
Right.
But all I pushed myself into was a bunch of coats and coat hangers.
Open the closet door up and swing, boy.
Confused. I wasn't going to question my sanity, though. I definitely saw that woman, and I knew it.
Right.
It wasn't the kind of thing you would just so vividly imagine. I went back to the middle floor and screamed very loud that whoever was in the house needs to get the F out.
Okay.
I actually screamed so loud that our next door neighbor came over and asked if I was okay. I told him that I literally just saw a woman at our upstairs window watching me play basketball. He came in and helped me search again.
All right, so now we got 2.
Find her.
Let's get
I was
it.
left to assume that she snuck out through the back door, which I did unlock after all when I went to grab the basketball from the yard.
Okay.
So my neighbor left. I locked all the doors, called my parents, and told them the crazy story. And they weren't too thrilled. But they asked me to make sure nothing was stolen. I did just that. And luckily it seemed anything that was worth something was still in place.
Right.
So now fast forward to that night.
Right. What happened?
I went to sleep after checking the house one more time just for peace of mind. It was hard to fall asleep though. My mind was racing for obvious reasons.
True.
Most people can't relate to seeing a stranger at their window inside of their house.
Right. While you on the outside though, and they in there.
Restlessness helped me out in this situation, and here's why. I was finally starting to drift away slightly. Then I heard some noises from the other side of me. I had the fan on above me, so the room wasn't dead silent, and that's why I didn't immediately turn to my other side at the first sound I heard. But the sound started to sound human-like. I turned to my other side, and there she was, getting out from under my bed.
Oh!
She stood up tall above the bed, and I screamed so loud, louder than earlier before. I jumped out of my bed and tackled her to the floor and had my hand around her throat.
Yes!
Asking her who she was.
This a real one right here.
Doorbell rang. My neighbor again.
You done broke into the house and encountered a real one. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, he ain't get up and run out the room. He got up and got on her ass, choked her. What you doing in my house? Yeah. That's what I like. I like to hear that.
The tall, dirty-looking woman up off the floor.
Woo, she was under the
dragged her
bed
to
the whole
front door
time.
with me as she struggled and scratched at me. I still have 2 scars on my right arm from her claws.
Damn.
I opened my front door to my neighbor again, and he let himself in and helped me restrain the woman.
Okay.
This was when I called the police. The whole time we waited for the police, the woman was screaming and cursing at my neighbor and I, threatening us too. The best way to put it, she looked and acted like a meth head currently suffering from withdrawals. When the police arrived, one of the officers knew exactly who the woman was. They had dealt with her multiple times before. Her name was conveniently Karen. It was satisfying to watch her be brought into the back of the police car. I let my neighbor know how grateful I was for him coming so quickly to help. And that night, my mind continued to race. But instead of being completely freaked out, which I still was a little, I felt this overwhelming feeling of satisfaction. And I can't fully explain why.
Hey, shit, that is satisfying. She done broke into your goddamn crib. She want to hide under the goddamn bed. Now imagine if she would have been You know what I'm saying? If she'd have waited till you actually drifted off to sleep. Had she waited until you drifted off to sleep, it very well could have been up for you, bruh. But I'm glad she jumped out when she did, so you was able to get her. That was some good shit. That would be scary though, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You out there playing basketball, you look up at your window and see somebody peeking through the blinds and they hide. How you ain't check under your bed though, bruh? You should have been caught her. But anyway, man, that is gonna do it for these scary stories. These scary stories were pretty good. They always are when it comes to the homie Mr. Nightmare, man. Hey, this is your first time, don't make it your last time. Hit the subscribe button down below, or at least drop a like on the video. You know what I'm saying? Drop a like, if nothing else. Leave a comment down below if you got anything else y'all want me to react to. And with that being said, for now, we're up out of this thing. This is your boy, Daru. I'm about to go to sleep. Peace.